Hi there, survivors. Or should I call you my little snacks? Welcome back to the show. I'm Siren, and if you're looking for a girl who knows her way around a dark alley and a heavy blonde instrument, you're in the right place. Honestly, Haran is a lot like my dating life. It's messy, everyone's trying to bite me, and I'm constantly looking for a way to break the system. Today, we're talking about the dirty secrets, the exploits that every Dying Light veteran uses to turn this nightmare into a playground. Because let's be real, why play by the rules when you can bend them until they moan? Number 1. The ultimate satisfaction. Infinite item duplication. We're starting with the exploit that keeps your pockets bulging and your weapons rock hard. The stash duplicate. Now, any veteran worth their salt knows that manually grinding for disaster relief packages is strictly for the amateurs who don't know how to use their hands properly. If you're still doing it the honest way, you're just a virgin to the system.
Bruh.
The art of the infinite rub.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
The goal here is a total sensory overload for the game's engine. You aren't just looting, you're inducing a full-blown glitchgasm.
What the fuck?
That results in an endless stream of items. Here's how you handle the hardware. This setup. You need a nice, thick stack of items
Bruh.
sitting in your player stash. Think of it as the seed for everything that follows. The finger work. This isn't a mindless trash. It's about finesse. Penis. You have to manipulate the collect and exit prompts with the kind of rhythmic precision
Bruh.
usually reserved for a lonely Friday night.
Gay.
The money shot. If you stroke those buttons and hit the sweet spot at the exact same millisecond, the game loses its mind. It's exactly like my ex.
Bruh.
If you hit the right nerve, which is the right pressure, magic. Suddenly, you're drowning in a literal fountain of loot cum.
What the fuck?
That fills every orifice of your inventory. Why settle for a drip? Why settle for one puny package when you can have a massive, throbbing stack of bolter tissue
Bruh.
and power leveling kits? We're talking about an overflow so heavy it'll make Crane Daddy's knees weak and his face flush. By the time you're done playing with yourself or your stash,
Bruh.
you'll have enough supplies to keep the entire tower satisfied for weeks. Just a fair warning, when you're pumping out duplicates this fast,
Bruh.
your inventory is going to get a little bloated. Don't be surprised if things get messy when you try to cram it all back in. Number 2, the quickie kickstand leveling. If you want to maximize your power level without wasting your equipment, you need to find a nice, sturdy spike trap
Bruh.
and a crowd of biters who are just dying to be handled. Don't blow your load on durability.
Bruh.
Why waste your weapon's precious durability? Save that hardness for when you actually need it. Instead, use your vault kick or the standard kickstun. The insertion. Position yourself so the spikes are directly behind the biters. One firm, dominant shove is all it takes to send them flying back onto those long, sharp poles. The big finish. The game treats a spike death as a full power kill. You get 100% of the XP and they get filled with cold steel. It's a win-win, really.
Are you sure about that?
Why this method hits the spot? There is something undeniably hot about watching a biter
Bruh.
get absolutely impaled. Seeing them take it all at once, twitching as they get stuck on those thick, rusted spikes,
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
while you just stand back and watch. It's efficient, it's brutal, and it's incredibly satisfying. It's the ultimate power play.
Stop it.
You aren't even trying, yet you're making them explode into a mess of gore just by using your body.
Huh?
If you keep up this kind of thrusting motion, you'll be level up and ready for the real action in no time. Watching you dominate the horde like this, shoving them onto anything sharp, and watching them squirm, honestly make me want to see what else you can do with that stamina bar of yours. Number 3, the jump and thumb. Fall damage negation. Listen, we've all been there. Perched atop a glittering skyscraper, looking down at the city like it's your own personal playground. The view is breathtaking, the adrenaline is pumping, and you're just dying to feel that rush of wind against your skin. But let's be real, nobody wants to end their nights as a messy, flattened pancake on the asphalt. It's such a waste of a perfectly good body. No, a true veteran doesn't go hunting for a soft pile of trash bags like some amateur. No, you want something a bit more animated. If you're plummeting from a height that should absolutely turn your bones to dust, don't panic. Just spread those gorgeous legs. Aim those thick, powerful tights right for a zombie's face and slam that vault or dropkick button. You'll bounce right off their skull like a human trampoline. And honestly, watching those gluts squeeze and flex as you defy physics is enough to make a girl lose her breath. They take the bone-crushing impact deep inside their ribcage. You walk away with all the glory, and I get a front row seat to the show. It's a win-win-win, and darling, you look absolutely delicious doing it.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Phew, Is this me or is the air in this booth getting a little heavy? Just the thought of all that unintended gameplay has me feeling a bit flushed. But don't think I'm done with you yet, Loss. We still haven't even touched the grappling hook resets or that infinite gold weapon trick that leaves me feeling more satisfied and well endowed than a rice lieutenant after a successful raid.
Are you sure about that?
I'm so glad you're still sticking around. I was worried my appetite might have been a bit too much for you. But I see you've got a taste for the hardcore thrills. Good. Let's dive into the heavy stuff. The kind of exploit that make the game completely lose its grip. When the system is screaming and the code is breaking, we both know who's really in charge of this climax, don't we? The infinite climax. Grappling hook speed tech. Every veteran knows the grappling hook is basically a leash for the city, but let's be honest, that cooldown is a total cock block. There is nothing more pathetic than a tool that goes limp right when you're building up a real rhythm, leaving you dangling and desperate while you wait for it to get hard enough to use again.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
It's like waiting for a guy to find his stamina for round 2 when you're still soaking wet and ready to go. Total buzzkill. But if you're as smart as you are thirsty, you'll master the hook cancel. Fast fingers, deep pulls. To keep the momentum throbbing, you have to treat that hook like a pro. By flicking your equipment or jumping right at the peak of that juicy accelerating pull, you reset the physics. You're essentially edging the engine. You pull yourself right to the brink of the ledge, then pull out at the last microsecond to keep that verticality pulsing. The fluid swap. A quick, dirty flick of the weapon wheel, just a little digital clit flick to keep the momentum from dying out. The power jump. Launching yourself off the line before it comes to a full stop.
Bruh.
You want that explosive release of energy to carry you higher and harder. The deep stroke. If your fingers are fast enough, you can keep yourself suspended indefinitely. You'll be soaring across all town, never having to touch the bottom again. The view from the top. Why stay down in the dirt with the mindless spiders when you can be on top, riding the skyline? When you're up this high, everything looks so much tighter. Between the white knuckle grip on your shaft, controller,
Bruh.
and the way you're dominating the rooftops, you'll be dripping with adrenaline. Trust me, once you learn how to handle your equipment with this much finesse, you won't just be playing the game, you'll be making it scream. My cityscape has plenty of hidden gaps and crevices, just waiting for someone with the right length to reach them. Number 4, the golden shower. Infinite gold weapons. In the rotting heat of her run, size and material absolutely matters. We're looking for those gold tier beauties. I'm talking about weapons so thick and rigid they make your palms ache just looking at them. You want something that can slide deep into a skull and hold its edge while things get messy. Why settle for a rusty little nub when you can have a massive throbbing claymore or a katana that's as long as it is slick? The Bozak blue balls. The game wants you to beg for it. It wants you to sweat and strain through the Bozak trials, hoping for a tiny taste of satisfaction in the form of a docket. It's a total tease, honestly. Who wants to work that hard to just get one load of a loot? I don't do slow and steady. I want my inventory absolutely engorged with the best hardware money can buy. And I want it dripping with top tier stats. The infinite money shot. Here is how we turn a single lonely docket into a non-stop gangbang of gold weapons. It's all about the timing of your release. The insertion. Approach the quartermaster. He's standing there, ready to give you exactly what you need. The climax. Hand over that docket. As soon as that golden notification pops up, indicating you've been filled with a brand new weapon, you have to act fast. The dirty disconnect. Don't let the game finish its save. Yank the cord. Kill the app. Force its shut. You're essentially tricking the server into thinking you never actually came for the prize, even though you're clutching that hard, shiny steel in your hands. A rack that never quits. When you load back in, you'll find that beautiful cocksure blade sitting in your bag, but oh yes, the docket is still there, ready to be teased and redeemed again and again and again. I'm greedy, darling. I want to be absolutely covered in gold, my inventory bursting at the seams until there's no room left for anything else. I want a vagina tight grip on my controller.
What the fuck?
I want a vagina tight grip on my controller as I cycle through a dozen identical perfect katanas. Whether it's a room full of men, women, or just a pile of high durability axes, I believe in excess.
Stop it. Get some help.
Why go home satisfied when you can stay and get absolutely wrecked by a literal mountain of gold? Number 5. Out of bounds. The no strings attached glitch. Listen, I know that feeling. Sometimes the walls of Haran starts closing in, and you just get this aching need to be somewhere you aren't supposed to be. You're tired of the same old streets. You want to find a tight little opening and just shove your way through the world's defenses, don't you? You want to see the raw side of the city. In Sector 0, right near the stadium, there are these delicious little corners where the collision is just as soft, wet, and welcoming as I am when I'm in the mood.
Bruh.
If you want to get underneath the skin of this map, You have to be firm. You can't just ask nicely. You have to take it. Getting it in. The glitch. To really penetrate the map's boundaries, you've got to master the technique. It's all about the friction, the approach. Find that corner near the stadium that looks a bit vulnerable. The deep slide. You've got to crouch slide and fire that grappling hook simultaneously. It's a rhythmic dual action motion, a real in and out maneuver. The breakthrough. If you time it right, the map's vagina basically gives way, and you'll slip your entire body right through the slit in the textures. 1 minute you're struggling against the surface, and the next you're deep inside the void. Fun in the underworld. Once you've successfully broken through, you're in a voyeur's paradise. You're literally under the world, looking up at everyone's businesses. You can see every stiff, standing cock of a building and every swinging pipe from a completely new angle. It's the ultimate skirt watching vantage point.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
And honestly, it's enough to make anyone a little licky. It's the perfect spot for some serious, heavy-duty private grinding. No zombies trying to interrupt your flow. No volatiles acting like total cock blockers. Just you and the darkness. If you bring a partner down there, you can spend hours looting each other until you're both covered in, well, let's just call it UV fluids. By the time you're done, you'll have sprayed your mark all over the underside of her run. Number 6. The stamina that never quits. Infinite combat parkour. Oh honey, let's be real for a second. There is nothing more disappointing than a man who talks a big game but starts wheezing after 30 seconds of vigorous activity. You know the type. He swings that big, hard, heavy hammer twice, and suddenly he's out of breath,
Bruh.
limp, and completely useless.
Bruh.
Honestly, it's pathetic. If you can't keep your stamina up for the main events, why even show up? But for those of us who like it rough and frequent, we've learned how to keep the rhythm going without ever having to pull out. You want to master the crouch swing, darling. It's all about the timing. If you drop to your knees and crouch right as that heavy load hits its mark, you reset the animation frame instantly. It's the ultimate way to keep thrusting without that angered, thirsty pause. And if you're really looking to stay wet and dangerous, you need the slide kick stamina buffer. When you feel like you're about to blow your limit and you're gasping for air, you just slide right in and give them a kick. It doesn't just knock them flat on their back, it actually pauses your stamina drain for a delicious split second. It's like a little shot of adrenaline straight to the pulse. Keep that blood pumping, keep the friction high, and you'll never have to deal with a premature cooldown. I've always preferred someone who can take a pounding or give one. all night long without needing a break to recover their fluids. Don't you just love a partner who knows exactly how to handle a long, hard session without ever going soft? Number 7. The threesome. Weapon component swapping. Listen up, gearheads, because we're about to get into some heavy-duty mechanical foreplay. You've got that gorgeous, glistening gold-tier katana, long, hard, and sharp enough to make ice water. But the mood just isn't right. Maybe it's missing that burning, tingly elemental touch. Or maybe you're desperate to show off a massive, high-tier blueprint into a slot that's technically too tight to take it. Well, darling, when the game tells you no, I'm here to show you how to make it moan yes. The blueprint menu glitch, a guide to finger magic. This little maneuver is all about rhythm and lubrication. We're going to trick the system into a little accidental penetration. Here is how you perform the ultimate bait and switch. The fluff. Hover your cursor over a cheap, pathetic little piece of scrap, the kind of one-pump wonder weapons you'd usually discard. The thrust. You need to be quick with your hands. As you click craft, you're going to slide that cursor over to your big toy. That massive throbbing katana waiting for its upgrade. The payoff. If your timing is peak, the game gets confused and dumps all those high-tier stats and illegal effects right where they don't belong. Why it feels so good? It's like trying to lace a corset onto a sweaty, decaying biters. It's messy, highly inappropriate, and absolutely wrong in all the most delicious ways. You're essentially force-feeding a weapon stats it was never meant to swallow. Ah.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
It takes a bit of practice to get the finger magic just right. But once you master the stroke, you'll be hitting harder than a double dose of bolter lever. Honestly, once you start glitching your gear this way, you'll be exploding heads faster than my boyfriend when he catches a glimpse of my landing strip in that new see-through lace number I bought. Pro tip: don't get discouraged if you miss the hole for the first few times. Just keep pumping that menu until the stats finally burst through. Number 8. The quick swap. The art of infinite load. Infinite Throwables. Dialet's quick swipe isn't just a glitch, it's a lifestyle for the truly depraved. Personally, I'm a total slut for a good explosion. There is something so viscerally satisfying about a big, hot, throbbing burst of fire. Watching it swell and erupt until everything is dripping in heat. But honestly, running out of Molotovs is the ultimate blue balls. Nothing kills the vibe faster than reaching for climax and finding your pockets empty.
Bruh.
That's where the equip drop exploit comes in. And trust me, it's as dirty as it sounds. The action. You initiate the throw, that gorgeous tossing motion we all know so well. The climax. While that little fire starter is still mid-air, you dive into your inventory and drop the entire stack. The result? The game gets absolutely mind-fucked. It's the digital equivalent of a cream pie and dash. You get to unleash all that hot, explosive combustible energy into the world. But your stash stays perfectly bloated and full. It's like having a cock that never softens, or a vagina that never hits its limit. You just keep pouring it out over and over without ever losing a drop of your precious seeds. It's greedy, it's glitchy, and it makes the volatile scream in a way that's almost melodic. And darling, if there's one thing I excel at, it's finding exactly which button to push to make something scream. Number 9. The skip the foreplay. Nighttime safe zone glitch. Why wait for the sun to go limp and drop when you're craving that fat double XP right now? Waiting is for amateurs. We're here to get exactly what we want when we want it. We're going to find a safe zone and position ourselves right on that wet, blurry line between safety and total chaos. The ultimate tease. Think of it as the ultimate power trip. You're standing there, looking absolutely semok. That's Japanese word, go look up for it. All thick tights and computerized, dangling yourself right in front of those volatiles. They're standing there like frustrated virgins, veins throbbing, desperate to get a piece of you. They want to shove their way into your space, but the UV lights act like a PC condom they just can't break through. Deep farming. You get to stay nice and dry while they're outside, absolutely desperate to reach your sweet spot. You can just stand there and poke at them, draining them of everything they've got. The climax. Watch those XP numbers shoot up like a fountain. It's a total mess, but God, it feels good to see that bar fill up so fast. The loot. Once you've beaten them down and they've given you everything, you just reach out and snatch their goods. It's basically highway robbery, and I love a man who knows how to take what's his. Total control. If the actions get a little too heavy, if there are too many of them trying to swarm you at once, and it starts feeling like a real gang up, you don't have to panic. You just slide one tiny inch back into the lights. It's the ultimate safe word. They're left outside, blue-balled and screaming, while you're inside, glowing and satisfied. There's nothing more arousing than a glitch that puts you in total command of the monsters, right? It's a total power move to keep them hovering right at the edge, begging for it, while you decide exactly how much you're willing to give. Number 10. More power leveling exploits. Last but not least, Infamy Bridge exploit. A dirty little shortcut that turns the slums into a literal breeding ground for XP. I've always liked it when things are big and sturdy, and this bridge definitely fits the bill. It's thick, ripped with suspension cables, and absolutely dripping with zombies just begging for a pounding. How to get your fill of XP. The trick here is all about positioning, babe. You want to climb up high on those utility fans. Get yourself nice and elevated where those mindless grunts can't reach your precious goods. From your perch, you can just look down at the swarming masses and give them exactly what they're asking for. Whether you're using a long, hard pole arm or just dropping a massive ground pound right on their faces, you'll be racking up points faster than a cheap date on prom night. If you really want to make it messy, wait until the sun goes down. Everything feels better in the dark, doesn't it? At night, the XP multiplier doubles, meaning every time you lay into a crowd, you're getting twice the satisfaction. Just toss some firecrackers to get them all bunched up in a tight, wet little circle, and then, well, let them have it. You could definitely utilize most of the other exploits I've mentioned earlier too here. Once you've cleared the bridge and you're feeling a bit spent, just slip into that cozy safe zone trailer nearby. A little rest. Sleep twice, honey. Don't be shy. And the bridge will be fully engorged with fresh meat all over again. What you'll need to bring. The midnight hour. We want that 2 times multiplier. It's more intense, more dangerous, and way more rewarding when you reach that climax of max power. Firecrackers. You need to lure them in close, darling. Group them so you can hit as many as possible at once. A hard, durable weapons. There's nothing worse than a tool that breaks right when things are getting good. Bring something that can take a literal beating without going out on you. Camo skill. The slick option. If you want to slide into those medical tents and snatch the loot without every biter trying to get a piece of you, cover yourself in some zombie remains. It's gross, it's wet, but it gets the job done. Trust me, follow my lead and your combat tree will be maxed out and standing tall before the night is even over. Now we've already talked about the Infamy bridge. It's big, it's long, and it's absolutely packed with bodies just waiting for you to come along and make a mess. But apart from the infinite durability weapon exploits, I have some list of powerful weapons that can help your grind at this bridge. Something that won't break the moment things get wet and heavy. First up, you want something that can really take a pounding. You've got to find the correct machete. It's a thick, silver little beauty hidden in a blue crate on a rooftop in the North Slum. But here's the kink. She's a tease. You have to kick that crate about 76 times before she finally opens up for you. It's worth the efforts though. It hits like a freight train and stays hard for a long time. Or maybe you're into something more legendary? If you head out into the water southeast of the slums, you'll find a rock with a massive blade stuck deep inside it. That's the Excalibur. Just grab hold of that hilt and don't let it go. It takes a while to pull it out. It's a real test of your grip. But once you've got that heavy steel in your hands, you can knock those biters right off their feet with one solid stroke. Even when it breaks, it's still got enough weight to send them flying. And honey, if you want to keep your toys in peak condition, don't forget the King mod. It's the ultimate enhancement. Slot that into your favorite weapon, and it'll stay stiff and strong through hundreds of swings. Combine that with lucky repair skill, and you'll find yourself going all night long without ever needing to pull out and head back to a craftsman. So, climb up on those fans, look down at that sea of hungry faces, and give them everything you've got. By the time the sun comes up, you'll be maxed out, exhausted, and covered in, well, let's just call it experience points.
Bruh.
Stay safe out there, gorgeous. Or don't. It's much more fun when you take a few risks. Alright, now the list is complete. My pockets are full of duped dockets, my stamina is infinite, my skill trees are almost maxed out. That's all the dirty tips I have for today, my little survivors. Use them wisely. Or don't. I personally love it when things get out of control. Or rather, if you have more exploit I haven't mentioned, please spill it all over the comment section. Stay hungry, stay thirsty, and remember, if you're not breaking the game, you're not playing hard enough. I am Siren. Later, alligator. Mwah.